Most people think Y Combinator funds the best ideas. Honestly, after working at a YC startup, I realized that's not even close to how this world works. Some founders get funded with ugly products, some barely have traction. Some completely pivot after getting into YC. So what are they actually looking for? Because once you understand the pattern, YC starts to look way less random. The internet makes YC feel impossible. Like you need Stanford connections, elite investors, or some insane AI breakthrough before you apply. But after being around founders in this environment every single day, the biggest thing I realized in this is YC is not about investing into ideas, they're about investing into people. People who move insanely fast, people who learn quickly, people who survive chaos, and people who keep building when everyone else burns out. And after you identify this, you realize that most startups' advice online are completely missing the point. So today I'm going to talk to you about the archetypes of a YC founder, why speed matters more than perfection, why most applications instantly fail, what YC interviews are actually like, and the hidden traits almost every successful founder seems to have. Because getting into YC isn't about sounding impressive, it's about proving you can execute. YC isn't just evaluating the startup, they're evaluating the execution machine behind it. And the strongest founder teams usually fall into very predictable patterns. We have a technical founder, a business founder, and an operational founder. Different people solving different bottlenecks. Technical founders can typically build quick, prototype quickly, learn fast, and don't wait for permission to execute. They can build an MVP really quickly, test it with users, and completely pivot the product if needed. The business founder. Engineers typically underestimate how important this role is. There are so many great products out there every single day that nobody knows about. YC loves the business founders that understand customers, distribution, storytelling, recruiting, sales, partnerships, marketing psychology, and so much more. A good business founder knows how to communicate clearly, create momentum, and believe in a product before it even scales up. And then there's the operator. They're primarily focused on helping the company scale up. Hiring breaks, customer support breaks, infrastructure breaks, internal communication breaks. You go to this person. They keep things moving. They create structure for the company to operate off of. YC typically prefers multiple founders, not because solo founders can't win, but startups are emotionally brutal. Having complementary skill sets matter a lot. Another founder may be amazing at distribution, but unable to ship quickly. Together, they cover each other's weaknesses. But honestly, the biggest reason is emotional resilience. Startups are stressful, like genuinely stressful. And having someone in the trenches with you matters more than you realize. YC can see right through teams that quote unquote look good. They can see through it instantly. They can tell when you barely know each other. They want a team that knows each other very well through trust, chemistry, history, and conflict resolution. Because startups are high pressure, they want to avoid weak relationships. YC values speed so much. The best founders can move unbelievably fast, not recklessly, decisively. They don't spend 6 months mastering a pitch deck. They launch fast and ugly. They pivot quick, and that's how they operate. Product updates, quick. Hiring, quick. Testing, quick. Customer feedback, quick. Most people expect the YC interviews to feel very formal, but honestly, it's the opposite. It's really fast, usually around 10 minutes, and they actually interrupt a lot. Not because they're rude, because they're testing how you can think under pressure. They want clarity, conviction, intelligence, and speed, but most importantly, honesty. They're going to ask things like, why now? Why in this market? Why are you the people to solve this? What traction do you have? What's growing and what's broken? And honestly, one of the worst things you can do is overcomplicate the answers. Strong founders answer directly. They know their numbers, they know their users, and they know the market. Getting into YC is not about sounding impressive. It's not about pretending to be a genius. And honestly, it's not even about having the perfect idea. They're looking for builders who learn fast, who are resilient people, and founder teams that can survive chaos long enough to find the product market fit. Because startups are basically pressure tests. And the founders who win are usually the ones who keep executing while everyone else overthinks. And that's the real game.